Today on Up Front, did Wisconsin really change the race for president? Ted Cruz won Wisconsin. Donald Trump lost. But now what? Is a contested convention likely? Republican Congressman Sean Duffy on what's next for the GOP. Then Democratic delegate decisions. After Bernie Sanders' big win here, I'll ask uncommitted delegate Jason Ray about the fight for the hearts and minds of Democrats.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. The candidates and their TV commercials are gone, but this year's wild, unpredictable presidential race goes on. Wisconsin left its mark on that race Tuesday. Republican Ted Cruz and Democrat Bernie Sanders won big here and slowed the march of the national frontrunners to their respective party nominations. We'll begin today with the Republican race for president. Ted Cruz rolled to a 13-point victory over Donald Trump in Wisconsin. So does this mean a contested convention is now all but certain? And is there any chance that House Speaker and Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan could emerge as the nominee? We're asking Republican Congressman Sean Duffy, who joins us on the satellite now from our affiliate in Wausau. Congressman, it's good to have you back on the program. And let's talk about what we saw on Tuesday night. You predicted before the election that you thought Donald Trump would do pretty well in your district, and he did. So from your standpoint, what is the takeaway from Tuesday night that tells us what we can expect in the future?
Well, I think the takeaway is what you just mentioned in your intro, which was you have Ted Cruz, who now has a little extra wind in his sails as he moves on to New York. I think the takeaway as well for Ted Cruz and his allies is if you want to take him down, if you can get conservative talk radio on your side and you can talk about conservative principles and what candidate is the most conservative, that one that'll carry your flag to Washington, D.C. and fight for the ideas that you think will make the country great again, which are the conservative set of ideas. Wisconsin has set the roadmap on how you do that. Because if you look at the two candidates, Donald Trump versus Ted Cruz is more conservative. But I don't think a lot of voters have really heard that message as clearly as they have in Wisconsin from conservative talk radio. They've done a great job driving that message.
Are you comfortable, or would you be comfortable with either one of these gentlemen being your party's nominee?
Listen, what I see my job as right now, Mike, we have division. If you saw my district, Donald Trump won, and won pretty handily. But there's still an aggressive and successful group of Ted Cruz supporters. It's my job to unify the party, to bring people together. I'll take either one of these candidates because I look at another 4 years of what we've had with Obama's 8 years of a disastrous economy is unacceptable for the people that I represent. So I'm going to fight for whoever our nominee is because they will be far better than the Democrat option.
What's your assessment right now? Do you think this will be decided before the convention in terms of Donald Trump, for instance, having enough delegates? Or do you think we're going to go to an open or contested convention? Well,
if you look right now, I think that Ted Cruz is going to have a hard time in New York. You talk about New York values, you kind of bash the New Yorkers. They're not going to take too kindly to that. So I think Donald Trump is going to get a little more momentum as he finishes out the primary season. But I do think it's going to be hard for Donald Trump to get that 1237 number. So I think we are going to have a contested primary. The odds of that grow stronger, especially after Wisconsin. And so now what you have to see these campaigns do is really have a background fight on who can get the most delegates on the second and third ballot. And that's a real strategic game that both have to play. We've all heard that Ted Cruz has been working that game a lot longer and has a better organization. Ted Cruz has just started that, Donald Trump has just started that recently to start to work on the delegate front. But this is going to be a brass knuckle fight for delegates in round 2 or 3 should we go to a contested race.
The exit polls in Wisconsin suggest that people who voted in the GOP primary want to see one of those individuals get the nomination. They feel whoever has the most delegates should be the nominee, even if they don't have 1,237. Do you agree with that?
No, I think we should follow the rules. The rules are that, and it's been like this for a very long time, for decades, that if you don't get a majority, a 50% plus one, which is 1237, you go to another ballot until someone gets that 50% plus one. I don't think we should change the rules to suit whether it's Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. Those have been the rules of the RNC, of the Republican Party. Both candidates knew that when they started their races, when they made their announcements. There's no need to change the rules now. I think we go round one. If someone can't get that 1237, let's see who can get the delegates behind their campaign. I support kind of the rules that we have in place. Otherwise, you're changing the rules in the middle of the game, Mike, and you're going to favor either a Ted Cruz or a Donald Trump if you change the rules. And I think automatically the other side who's not benefited is going to be really angry, and they're going to feel disenfranchised. So I think the fairest way to deal with a contested convention is to keep kind of the same platform of rules that we've had in prior conventions, which I think is the fairest way to deal with it.
So let me have you weigh in on another scenario. And you hear the speculation, and we should say I think that you're considered a pretty good friend of Speaker Ryan's. You hear the speculation and even the wishes of some in your party that somehow at a contested convention, the party turns to Paul Ryan and asks him to be the GOP nominee. Do you see any scenario under which that could happen, and how would you feel about it if it did happen?
I mean, can we concoct scenarios where, someone who didn't run in Iowa becomes the nominee? That's possible, but incredibly unlikely. Paul Ryan doesn't want to be the president. He wants to be the Speaker of the House. And if he wanted to be president, he would have run for the job. I like you mentioned earlier, I think it's important that you have one of these two candidates, Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, win the nomination in July. And if someone else steps in and takes it from one of those two people, I think you're going to have a true fracturing of the Republican Party. I think we'll be worse off if one of those two don't have the nomination than if you have someone who you think might be a little bit better. I think you'll see both Trump and Cruz supporters sit home really angry about that decision. So my advice to the party is, listen, let the voters decide. Let the process work its way out, but it should be a Trump or a Cruz who gets the nomination, not somebody else. And again, I don't think Paul Ryan wants it. You see and hear all the speculation. I know it's fun for the media commentators to philosophize about Paul Ryan. Listen, I know Paul. He doesn't want this.
Congressman Sean Duffy, the Republican from North Central Wisconsin, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much for being with us today.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Have a good day.
Next on Up Front, the Democratic delegate dance. Bernie Sanders may have won big in Wisconsin, but votes are one thing, delegates are another. Why that is and what one uncommitted superdelegate is thinking. That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.